Known as the Sturgeon moon will shine brightly in the sky Tuesday night. It will appear brighter and bigger than the average full moon. The August 1st full moon is the second of 4 consecutive supermoons, which occur when the moon's orbit is closest to Earth at the same time the moon is full. Supermoons are about 16% brighter than an average moon. The supermoon will be even closer on the night of August 30th because it will be a rare blue moon, which occurs when there are 2 full moons in a single month. But it's not actually blue in color. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Harry Styles has donated more than $6.5 million to a long list of charities since wrapping his Love on Tour, including Planned Parenthood and Save the Children. This was the 4th highest grossing concert tour of all time. More than 5 million people attended around the world. Monica Ricks, CBS News.
Excuse me,
The Radio Vermont forecast calling for any leftover showers to exit quickly today into a fully moonlit sky. Patchy Valley fog overnight, a low in the upper 40s. That'll feel good with a light northwest wind. There is that full sturgeon moon coming tomorrow at 2:32 p.m. We'll get the latest from Roger in about 10 minutes. Red Sox take it on the chin. A tough series. 2 walk-off losses against the San Francisco Giants. MLB trade deadline is tomorrow. We'll tell you what all the teams around the Sox are doing. And good afternoon, everybody. 4:05 here on the afternoon news service on this Monday on Vermont's news station, WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. I'm Brady Farkas, setting up until 5:30. This is a look at state and local news. Police now say the death of a Vermont woman in February was a homicide, and now they have no suspects in custody. Vermont State Police say the February 20th death of 73-year-old Claudia Voigt of Wyndham was initially thought to be due to a medical event. But during the autopsy, the medical examiner found Voigt's death was due to strangulation and confirmed in April the death was a homicide. Police say they chose not to release that information to the public at the time due to the sensitive nature of the case. Today, they said it could now be released without jeopardizing the case. Investigators believe that Voigt's killing was not random, and there is no apparent threat to the community. Again, no one is in custody at this time. The Milton Police Department is currently looking for a driver involved in a hit and run. Investigators say this happened in front of Raj's convenience store in Milton. The person hit a member of the Milton Fire Department after they were returning from a call. Police want neighbors to get a good look at a picture they've posted of the red pickup truck that's involved in this crash. If you have any information or saw the situation happen, you are asked to call the Milton Police Department. Popular live music venue Radio Bean is facing serious financial losses after someone broke in over the weekend. Owners detailed the break-in on social media, saying that it is the first time in the venue's 23-year history that the space has been burglarized. 2 expensive pieces of gear belonging to a DJ were taken, along with other money and business property. The owner said the crime has pushed them to a breaking point and are now facing the possibility of having to close down for good. So far, Radio Bean has reported at least $9,000 in damages related to the thefts. As of this writing, the GoFundMe to pay for the stolen gear and to support the venue has already reached nearly $23,000. Right now, it's 4:07 on WDEV. Usually at this time, we go out to the phone line and bring on Calvin Cutler, our WCAX news reporter. But Calvin is out today, so we'll catch up with him again tomorrow. So just so everyone who's been looking for Calvin at this time, understand, again, he's off today. We will be back with him tomorrow. Elsewhere in state and local news, the town of Cabot announced on Friday that the Cabot Fire Station is, quote, significantly unstable and large sections of the land are falling into the Winooski River. This was determined by the Vermont State geologist Ben DeYoung, who, according to Cabot officials, underwent an examination of the fire station property. Inspectors from the Division of Fire Safety said the fire station is in danger of collapsing, and officials say entry is now only allowed for removing equipment. Relocation options for vehicles and washing and decontamination equipment are still under consideration. Chief Dean Deasy and ambulance president Jen Miner both say the services of the station will remain intact and abilities to respond to fire and rescue calls won't be affected. Officials say a new location has been under consideration for a while, and a new proposed site for a new public safety building was cleared for construction earlier this summer. With students out on summer break, school and state leaders are working to enhance security measures ahead of the new academic year. For some school districts, like the Rutland Northeast Supervisory Union, the 2022 and 2023 school year came with a wide array of challenges. Kristen Hubert, who's the superintendent of that school district, said they had a few incidents that made us realize we need to do better. That's what she told Channel 3 News. In February, Otter Valley Union High School, along with at least 20 other schools in the state, received what police refer to as swatting calls.
That's when someone places a phone call to law enforcement with a fake threat to spur a massive police response. According to the Vermont Intelligence Center, school threat data has fluctuated over the years from 55 in 2018 and 19 to as high as 82 reported threats in 2021. Last year, 61. Hubert, again, who's from Rutland Northeast Supervisory Union, says
it's forced them to make changes surrounding school safety. That school district has created new positions, such as a new director of safe schools, whose primary focus will be strengthening the school's options for things like mental and behavioral health and safety, as well as security across the district. At the state level, a new school safety bill that mandates all school districts hold options-based response drills twice a year and have an all-hazards emergency plan.
Another component of that act requires the Secretary of Education to create a model for behavioral threat assessment for schools to adapt. And they say that the Agency of Education is working on a policy and will report back to the legislature with recommendations.
Volunteers with the Vermont Disaster Animal Response Team are using an app to help take care of displaced pets. The Berry Ice Rink was opened as a pet shelter where volunteers take care of animals for people displaced by flooding so they don't have to worry. Thanks to an app created by a volunteer with help from a grant, they are able to keep track of all the pets and their needs in one place instead of using paperwork. On the app, they list how many times the pets have eaten and been let out, as well as any other medical conditions. The app creator says she is continuing to work on improving the tool for even more advanced use in the future. The transformation of the Oddfellows Lodge in Burlington kicked off yesterday. People gathered at the site in the city's new North End with neighbors for a day of food, live music, and painting. The Oddfellows organization runs the North End Food Pantry, providing free food, clothing, and diapers to about 500 people monthly. The group says they value friendship, love, and truth through community building, all things they hope to capture with their new colorful mural. The Burlington Oddfellows is partnering with the city of Burlington to make all this happen. They're hoping to have that mural completed before October. And Dragon Heart Vermont, a breast cancer survivor and supporter paddling club in Burlington, had some big wins at a recent U.S. National Championship. The United States Dragon Boat Racing Championship took place in Sarasota, Florida over the weekend of July 21st to 23rd. Dragon Heart Vermont traveled to the competition against 40 other clubs from across the country. Their flagship breast cancer survivor team, Dragon Heart Vermont Sisters, won their division, taking gold medals in the 200-meter, 500-meter, and 2,000-meter races. The three wins secure them a spot to represent the U.S. at the Crew Club World Championships in Italy next year. Another Dragon Heart Vermont team called the 802 Spirit took home 3 bronze medals in Florida and also will be getting a chance to compete in Italy. 6 area search and rescue teams spent over 12 hours in the rain Saturday rescuing an injured hiker on Camel's Hump. The rescue was completed by 25 rescuers in darkness Sunday morning at about 1:30 a.m. The 65-year-old hiker from New Hampshire fell and fractured her upper arm and was unable to continue. Rescuers say the hiker and her son were in one of the most remote locations in the Camel's Hump trail system. After receiving care, the hiker felt she could try to hike the rest of the way. Over the next 6 hours, she was able to slowly be guided uphill and was taken to the Central Vermont Medical Center in Berlin. Vermont State Police are investigating a bicycle stolen at Bolton Valley on Friday, valued at about $10,000. The bike was a black Specialized Levo LS model. The owner of the bike believes it was taken from his truck sometime Friday afternoon between 4 and 6 p.m. Anyone with information on that incident or the stolen bike is urged to contact police. If your home was damaged by the recent floods, but you can still live in it safely, FEMA may be able to provide you up to $300 to help with cleanup. This clean and sanitize assistance aims to help homeowners and renters quickly address contamination from floodwaters to prevent additional losses and safety concerns. You may qualify for clean and sanitize assistance if you live in a county that is qualified for FEMA help. For advice about what to do if your house has mold, you can visit FEMA.gov for a fact sheet with mold problems and solutions. To register for FEMA assistance, you can visit disasterassistance.gov, download the FEMA app, or call 1-800-621-3362. A car-motorcycle crash in East Montpelier last night killed a Plainfield man. State police responded around 6:30 p.m. to Route 214. Troopers say 33-year-old Josh Barnett of Plainfield was riding his motorcycle south along the road when he lost control of the bike, causing it to skid into the northbound lane where he collided with an oncoming car. Both vehicles came to stop along the shoulder of that northbound lane. Barnett was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say the driver was operating with a criminally suspended license and was also found to be operating under the influence of alcohol. He was taken into custody without incident and cited to appear in Washington County Court. Anyone who may have seen the crash is asked to contact the Berlin Barracks of the Vermont State Police. Right now it's 4:15 here on WDEV, AM and FM at WDEVradio.com. That was a look at state and local news. We'll get back into the forecast center with our Radio Vermont forecaster, Roger Hill, and he'll be with us next here again on the afternoon news service, WDEV, AM and FM, streaming at WDEVradio.com.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
As Vermonters, we know that so much depends on the weather. When you need a reliable local weather forecast, it's literally at your fingertips with the WDEV weather phone. Locally dial 244-1172 or toll free at 1-800-585-1211. Roger Hill's weather forecast is just a phone call away on the WDEV weather phone, 244-1172 or 1-800-585-1211.
4:17 here on the afternoon news service, WDEV, AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. A much more pleasant day today than there have been in the last couple of days. Far less humidity, far lower temperature. Temperatures struggling places to even reach the 70s. Right now, we're in the mid to upper 60s here in Waterbury, and Roger Hill's forecast is next. Thanks to Pete's Equipment, your Coyote Tractor, Hyundai Excavator, and ASV Skid Steer dealer in Morrisville. Roger, what do you see out there today?
A good late Monday afternoon, everyone. Well, we're looking on the weather map with much lower dew point temperatures, much more comfortable conditions in the area, but also a fair amount of cloud cover, and with that, some polka dot showers out there on the radar. Some of the showers are a little beefy, that is almost wannabe thunderstorms. In fact, there's a couple lightning strikes here and there in places like Bennington County and over toward parts of adjacent Connecticut River Valley on the New Hampshire side. And that's where the shower activity is going to be the strongest and the most, some weak wannabe thunderstorms there. Otherwise, up to the north, we're looking at a little band of showers that has yet to roll on through. This is going to be starting to diminish and push away from our region. And also upstream, I'm looking at dew point temperatures that fall basically from the mid-50s into the upper 40s and even some mid-40s as you get north of the Ottawa Valley. This is going to be advecting in on a bit of a northwest wind over the next couple of days. What does it all mean? It means conditions are going to be a whole lot cooler. And I got to tell you, those folks that are suffering in some of those areas of heat in the southern United States would love to trade places. Heat indices across parts of, it looks like Georgia, into Alabama, Louisiana, and then back into Texas. And that would include, of course, the desert Southwest. They're all basically above 100 degrees. Some 90s that had basically made it as far north as parts of Kansas and southern Missouri. And then the temperatures are more in the 80s further up to the north of that. For us, we got that northwesterly flow. Let's check the forecast. Any leftover showers should be exiting quickly to a fully moonlit sky as skies become clear. We'll see some patches of valley fog form overnight. Lows will fall back into the upper 40s, so if you're out and about camping for this week, you want to bring those extra blankets. Otherwise, not a bad stretch here for camping. Upper 40s for tonight, a light northwest wind. Full sturgeon moon kicks in tomorrow at 2:32 p.m. We got fully moonlit skies for the next few days. Patches of river valley fog will burn off to a mixture of sun and clouds during the day tomorrow. Cooler than normal temperatures with highs in the mid-60s tomorrow afternoon. A northwest breeze 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear, fully moonlit skies Tuesday night. Isolated patches of valley fog, lows in the upper 40s, light west winds. Mostly sunny for Wednesday. More afternoon clouds to build up. Continued low to moderate humidity levels, relatively comfortable for Wednesday, and a daytime high in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees. Winds will be light out of the northwest. We're looking at another extended day, a good day for picking up hay in the morning hours. On Thursday. By the time we get into Thursday late afternoon, could be a brief afternoon shower or sprinkle. Friday, it looks like we'll see more shower and thunderstorm activity as conditions get a whole lot more humid. Temperatures on Thursday, mid to upper 70s with daytime highs Friday in the mid 70s. I'm Radio Vermont with forecaster Roger Hill. Back to you, Brady.
Thank you very much, Roger. Pleasure to talk to you. As always, Roger's forecast thanks to Pete's Equipment, your Coyote Tractor, Hyundai Excavator, and ASV Skid Steer dealer in Morrisville. Our Radio Vermont news time is 4:21.
At Coyote Tractor, our word is as good as dirt, because to us, dirt is as good as it gets. That's why we offer an industry-leading 6-year unlimited hour warranty on select tractors. So you can dig, mow, and haul until the cows follow you home. Day after day, year after year. 6-year warranty for non-commercial residential use only on specific Coyote models registered during promotional period. Stop by Pete's Equipment Sales and Rentals, Brooklyn Street, Morrisville, and at Pete'sEquipmentVT.com. Coyote. We dig dirt.
It's full season barbecuing time, and the Willie Store meat case has the steaks, the pork, chicken, and sausages to satisfy the hungry crew. Step into the hardware department for a new gas or charcoal grill. Head upstairs to housewares for new cast iron pans and barbecue utensils. Maybe a picnic basket. Have painting projects? Willie's is loaded with True Test paints and Vermont natural coatings. They'll make painting almost fun. A new swimsuit, beach towels, sandals, and flip-flops will help too. At the Willie Store for over 120 years in Greensboro, across from Caspian Lake.
Alan Jones & Sons is open to serve you. If your car isn't running properly, call Alan Jones & Sons. They offer full-service auto repair and are qualified to repair all domestic and imported cars, trucks, and SUVs. And they only use parts equal to or exceeding those originally used by the manufacturers. You can trust Alan Jones & Sons, family-owned and providing high-quality guaranteed auto repairs for the Greater Barrie community since 1976. Alan Jones & Sons, 150 Air Street, Barrie.
Hi, this is Radio Vermont weather forecaster Roger Hill. Join me for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to the White Continent, Antarctica. We'll fly together from Burlington on January 24th next year, and after a night on the town in Buenos Aires, Argentina, we'll board our private charter flight to Ushuaia and embark on the World Navigator, crossing the infamous Drake's Passage. Accompanied by petrels and albatrosses, we'll see the South Shetland Islands and the Antarctic Peninsula alongside the hourglass dolphins and humpback whales. We'll see rugged mountain peaks, black sands, and expensive tundra while enjoying shore landings led by expert field guides. We'll get up close to nature, paddling next to icebergs, seals, whales, and of course the emblem of Antarctica, the penguin. Prices start at $10,000 per person. I hope you'll join me. Contact your Milne Travel Advisor. Call 800-78-MILNE or email help@milnetravel.com. That's 9 nights of cruising Antarctica with me, Roger Hill. Contact Milne Travel for more information.
423 here on WDEV, AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. Joining me now, my guy, Steve Foster over at the Hickey and Foster team at Keller Williams Vermont, Keller Williams Stowe. You can find them online, StoweAreaRealty.com. They do great work. They've got expansive knowledge of all the ins and outs of real estate around this state, whether we're talking about buying and selling, residential or commercial. They are your first and well, very oftentimes you're only call. They can take you through every step of the home buying or home selling process. It's a very complicated real estate world out there, and they know how to navigate it. Steve, a very happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday, Brady. I'm very well, thank you.
I appreciate you being with us. You ever wanted to go to Antarctica like the promo just read there?
You know, I've been hearing that one for the last 2 weeks, and yes, I kind of want to go.
Well, all it takes is one or two houses there with a good commission there. You could fund it.
Yeah, $10,000 is still a little rich for my blood, but I know people are going to have a great time.
People will absolutely have a great time. Look, the last couple of weeks, we've talked about some of the real estate programs that are out there to help people affected by flooding. As we move, not past that, because it's still very much on the top of everyone's minds, a couple of weeks from now, a couple of weeks removed, as we start to look into the other areas of real estate, what are you starting to see and what's on your mind today?
Yeah, let's do something we don't often do and talk about some of the listings that our office does have active right now.
Okay.
We've got a whole mix of land listings, commercial, residential.
Okay, commercial, residential. Let's go with some of the residential stuff. Are you seeing any particular areas that are opening up?
Well, not necessarily. There is some inventory coming back onto the market, and that everybody's there's nothing to sell. There's no houses to buy. We're seeing a trickle effect happen. So we do have some stuff available. For example, I've got a 3-bedroom home on 12 acres on Elmore Mountain Road in Elmore that's listed for just under $500,000. I'll have another single-family home in Stowe, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in Stowe Hollow. That will come on the market tomorrow with an open house this Saturday. We've got land listings in Stowe, for people looking to build. I also have some office space. If anybody out there is looking for 3,000 square feet of office space, I've got a great building in downtown St. Albans that would make a nice space for someone's business. So there is stuff available, and we're happy to show you what we've got in our inventory.
It's interesting. You mentioned having office space. Well, we've heard so much in the last 2 years about working from home and how actual office space isn't as valuable, or people don't need to be in an office. But it's amazing what you can do with an office space. I mean, my brother works from home, but he actually rents what's called a co-working space, in which basically a building that had been abandoned, for lack of a better term, it's still well kept, but it's been repurposed into a co-working space where basically they've built an office, and a bunch of people who work from home all come in and do their jobs there, so it's like they still have an office and co-worker experience. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's human connection is necessary, and yes, there are plenty of people working from home, but you miss out on that little bit of interaction throughout your day that keeps the ideas flowing. And even if you're not in with somebody, you're not working at the same business, simply being able to interact changes your mindset. So we see a lot of that. In fact, we have a building down in Bethel that is exactly that. And it's under contract now. But again, seeing that co-work space, I think it adds productivity, even if you're working with people who aren't in your same profession.
It's fascinating too. Like my brother does podcasting, and he does podcasting, and that guy does sales. That guy sells insurance, and that woman is an accountant. And I'm like, all these different people coming together. He has a blast doing it. So it certainly is an option out there for people who are looking to have space, but don't necessarily need it for their office or their business. So Steve Foster over at the Hickey and Foster team, Keller Williams, Vermont, Keller Williams, Stowe. Steve, I've got the phone number memorized, but it means more coming from you. So hit me with the phone number.
802-585-1150.
Steve, be well. We appreciate it. We'll catch up in 7 days.
Have a great one.
Absolutely. There goes Steve Foster, Hickey and Foster team, Keller Williams, Vermont, Keller Williams, Stowe. As my old coworker used to say, don't want a break. Don't need a break. Taking a look at business news right now as we hit 428 on this Monday on WDEV. As for what happened on Wall Street today, the S&P finishes up negligibly, up 7 points. That's about 0.15%. The Dow goes up 100 points. That's 0.28%. The NASDAQ goes up 29 points. That's about 0.21%. We'll have the full closing bell report with all the commodities coming your way in the afternoon news service. It's 5 o'clock hour. It's about 45 minutes from now. As for some national and international business news, well, let's talk about the movies, because a lot of you apparently spent a lot of time at the movies this weekend. AMC Theaters had a revenue record last week, driven by the overwhelming success of the Barbenheimer craze. In a news release yesterday, the world's largest theater chain announced that from July 21st to July 27th, it earned its largest single-week admissions revenue since the company's founding in 1920. AMC attributed this 103-year high to the incredible opening weekend of both Barbie and Oppenheimer, as well as the strong momentum that carried them along. Barbenheimer had tremendous staying power in the second week in theaters, with Barbie grossing $93 million and Oppenheimer getting $47 million. Danny, did you go to the movies this weekend? Are you in on the Barbenheimer craze?
I did not.
Are you going to be in on the Barbenheimer craze?
Yeah, give it time. I might be in.
Okay, we'll see. Oppenheimer is interesting to me. I don't know that I could ever sit through a movie for 3 hours, though. That sounds interesting. I don't know that I could go for 3 hours. I think I might take Jess to see Barbie, though. So we'll see. I heard good things. Last weekend was AMC's busiest since the pandemic forced theaters to close in 2020. This weekend marked the chain's third busiest worldwide since reopening. It reported that 65 AMC locations across 19 states sent their own box office records this week as well. AMC shares were up about 7% in late afternoon trading also. So good stuff there if you are a movie fan. Anchor Brewing, which has been America's oldest craft brewer with 127 years in business, closed its tap rooms for good yesterday. But there is a chance the brand could live on. Loyal fans looking for one last pint formed a line outside the San Francisco-based brewery yesterday that stretched several city blocks, to the point that Anchor had to turn people away. One fan told a local television station that it's a shame something like this is going away, expressing hopes that Anchor could be saved during the liquidation process that begins in August. There is hope that could happen. Roughly 24 investors, as well as a group of Anchor employees, have, quote, expressed interest in buying all or parts of Anchor Brewing. 4:30, about to be 4:31 here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. The trade deadline is about 24 hours away, and Major League Baseball's contenders are making moves. Are the Red Sox one of them? We'll take you through all the sports next after CBS News.
CBS News Brief. Convicted killer Lori Vallow Daybell just got life in prison and made a bizarre statement in court saying she still sees her dead kids and husband's late wife.
My eternal friend, Tammy Daybell, has visited me on several occasions. She came to bring me peace and comfort.
Actor Paul Rubens, who became a cultural icon playing Pee Wee Herman, has died. Syracuse media professor Robert Thompson.
Persona was that he was absolutely ageless. He dressed like an adult. He looked kind of like an adult, but of course he behaved like a child. So was he 5? Was he 50? Was he 70?
Rubens was 70. He privately battled cancer for years. The feds are testing treatments for long COVID. Reporter Alexander Tin.
In addition to previously announced trials studying Pfizer's Paxlovid pills, other treatments to be studied by NIH include new applications and devices aimed at treating neurological symptoms like brain fog.
CBS News Brief. I'm Monica Ricks.
32 WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. It is Major League Baseball's trade deadline season. The deadline comes up tomorrow at 6 p.m., so we got just over 24 hours for teams to make deals, and boy, are the teams making deals. So let's take you through a little bit of what's happening and what's not happening here. The Los Angeles Angels are making a run at everybody, so they're not trading Shohei Ohtani, we know that. They've acquired Mike Moustakas in a deal from the Colorado Rockies. They've acquired Eduardo Escobar in a deal with the New York Mets. Then they got Lucas Giolito from the Chicago White Sox. They added reliever Reynaldo Lopez. And yesterday, they went through and added more Colorado Rockies castoffs, Randall Grichuk and C.J. Cron. The Angels haven't been to the playoffs since 2014, and in Ohtani's last year under contract, they are going big. Texas Rangers haven't been to the playoffs since 2016. They also are going big. They acquired Aroldis Chapman in a deal from the Kansas City Royals a few weeks ago, and now they've added a couple of starting pitchers. Multi-time Cy Young winner Max Scherzer is on the move to Texas, as is former Yankees pitcher Jordan Montgomery, who comes via the St. Louis Cardinals. Also in the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays have added to their bullpen, getting flame-throwing Cardinals reliever Jordan Hicks. He throws, a cool 102, 103, 104 94 miles an hour. So Toronto's bullpen looks a lot better right now. We've also seen the Cubs take Cody Bellinger and Marcus Stroman off the market. So that's, those are a couple guys who won't be leaving. And just breaking news a little while ago, the Tampa Bay Rays have acquired Cleveland Guardians pitcher Aaron Savali in a deal for a top prospect. What are you noticing here? AL contenders are making moves. Who's not making moves? The teams that are, pretty good, but not good enough to go all in. That would be your Red Sox. That would be the Mariners. That would be the Yankees. These teams, again, that are good, but not quite good enough. We will see what happens here for Chaim Bloom and company. Red Sox are just over, again, 24 hours away from the trade deadline. The Red Sox come into today's game at 2.5 games out of the wild card spot. How'd they get to 2.5 games back? Well, they dropped 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Back-to-back walk-off losses for the Boston Red Sox. Sox had a good run at it yesterday. They were trailing. Then Justin Turner came to the plate and does what Justin Turner does, hitting a 2-run homer, which gave the Red Sox a lead for the moment.
You got a guy in Justin Turner up. Probably the one guy you'd love to have up if you're the Boston Red Sox right now.
No doubt about it. He tied the game yesterday. Can he do it again here? He could do so without a hit. Infield is in with 1 out. The pitch. Turner drives one deep to left field. Hit his way back. It is gone! Justin Turner hits an impossible home run off Tyler Rogers. He does it again in San Francisco. 3-2 Red Sox.
A lot of homework on that swing. He's watching Rogers approach the righties. He sees first pitch slider. He sits on it. He stays in there. Tough for a right-handed hitter. This ball starts at your hip. He gets his slider. He gets it. And just because you guess right doesn't mean you execute. He's got to still put the swing on it. He stays on it, drives it out of the yard, and Justin Turner again coming up huge for this Red Sox team.
One of the biggest swings of the year. And again, Lou, it is not an exaggeration to say that one swing may literally change the Red Sox plans at the deadline.
Well, we would have hoped it would have, but again, the Red Sox ended up losing that game. How? Because Jock Peterson came to the plate in the 11th inning of a 3-3 game and did this.
2-1. Here it is. Swinging a ground ball into right field, base hit, and the Giants win. 4-3 in the 11th. The Red Sox walked off for the second straight night, and after they won the opener, a truly disappointing loss today and in the series. Peterson, the hero, 4-3 Giants.
Turner's played a lot of games at that ballpark against the Giants. Remember, he was a member of the Dodgers for a lot of years. He said it's never easy.
Play a lot of games against these guys up here, and it's always a tough place to play. They, pitch well and play good defense, and just find ways to create runs and put balls in play, and just didn't go our way.
Sox manager Alex Cora said the loss was disappointing. They failed to hit with runners in scoring position, but Turner's been everything this team could have wanted for the last couple of months.
The thing with him, with men in the third, I don't know how many at-bats in the last month with men in third and less than 2 outs and infield in, he cashes in. He's a ball in the air. It's just such a good at-bat, and he got a pitch that he was able to handle, hit in the air. Just another great at-bat.
Another great at-bat for Turner. Remember, he had a great at-bat on Saturday in a game they eventually went on to lose as well. Turner had a 2 RBI game-tying single in the 9th inning on Saturday. As for a couple of injured Red Sox, Chris Sale's set to come back maybe sooner than we all thought. Sale's going to pitch in a rehab game tomorrow at AAA Worcester. Julian McWilliams of the Boston Globe says they're kind of putting Sale on the fast track.
That's the interesting piece about this, TC, because he's not throwing 2 innings on Tuesday, which is typical for your first rehab assignment. He's throwing 3. So I think they see a window here of opportunity for them to be able to get him back sooner rather than later. And what role? We don't know. But Alex Cora did hint at, he said, what San Francisco is doing over there in terms of their starters is interesting. The whole, hiding your starters in the bullpen. Now, he didn't say that he would do that with Sale, but he did say that, if it's an opportunity for them to start him and have him go 3 or 4 innings and then bring in a reliever, as he builds up, I think they think just having his arm in this role, in a starter's role, in this late into the season is sort of good for this team and brings a different type of presence. So
we'll see what happens there for Sale. Again, he's got that rehab assignment tomorrow. A guy who's been rehabbing is infielder Trevor Story. We haven't seen him all year. Danny, give me Trevor Story number 2, talking about getting his timing back at the plate.
A little bit of inconsistency, obviously, just kind of given the nature of baseball. But, those are things that you kind of expect, being away from the game for 10 months. And we're treating it kind of like the first week of spring training. So, but making progress there. And I feel good about each day we're gaining there. So I feel good about that.
Off the Red Sox, let's move around the rest of baseball at the trade deadline. Buster Olney of ESPN says this is a scary thought. The Atlanta Braves, who are already the best team in baseball, could end up getting even better.
This year, there's no doubt about it. It feels like the sport has moved collectively back toward the middle. And even the Braves, yes, right now, they are the best team in the regular season. I think even they recognize that they've got some serious flaws, which is why I think before we get to the deadline, you might see the Braves trade for one of the best available starters, Michael Lorenzen, a Jack Flaherty.
How about the New York Mets? They're on the opposite end of the Braves. They're not buying, they're selling. They traded away Max Scherzer. Will they also get rid of Justin Verlander? Tim Kirchin of ESPN.
Whenever you go into a season having won 101, you're supposed to be in the race for the division title, and you're selling a future Hall of Fame pitcher at the trade deadline, that's not good. And now the biggest question maybe is, are they going to sell Justin Verlander next? I'm not quite sure where that's headed, but should be an interesting day.
Yeah, should be an interesting day. Should be an interesting 24 hours or so. No other big moves have happened just yet since the Savale trade. A couple of games on the docket for today. The Phillies are at the Marlins in the National League East. This game has wild card implications for sure, as these two teams are battling out for playoff position. Taijuan Walker for Philly, Edward Cabrera for Miami. Rays taking on the Yankees. Big series as well, also with playoff implications. Tyler Glasnow against Johnny Brito. Brewers are at the Nationals from Washington. Corbin Burns against Jake Irvin. Orioles taking on the Blue Jays. Kyle Gibson against Chris Bassett. Another huge series. Angels taking on the Braves. Griffin Canning against Charlie Morton. Reds against the Cubs. Andrew Abbott against Marcus Stroman. Guardians taking on the Astros. Noah Syndergaard against J.P. France. Padres at the Rockies. Seth Lugo against the lefty Austin Gomber. Red Sox taking on the Mariners. Our coverage tonight, 8:40. First pitch, 9:40. Nick Pivetta for Boston. George Kirby for Seattle. And Ryan Nelson goes to the Diamondbacks there in San Francisco to take on the Giants. That game is at 9:45. Let's take a look at the NFL right now. Patriots had an interesting visitor at training camp over the weekend. Former Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott. Hey, Bill Belichick, how'd the meeting go with Zeke, huh?
Yeah. Again, I'll pass on the guys that aren't on our team.
Okay, that good, huh? So there you go. We're not talking about Ezekiel Elliott, apparently, if we're Bill Belichick. We'll talk about him on the Brady Farkas show. Since Kendrick Bourne is on the team for the Patriots, Belichick was willing to talk about him, though.
Yeah, KB has had a really good offseason. Yep. Really good.
In what way?
Every way. It's physically, it's good. Mentally, it's good. Participation was good. It's good on the field, good off the field. Really had a good offseason. One of our best.
Well, that's good to hear, because Bourne was really a little used part of the offense a year ago. Bourne spoke about what made his offseason so great.
Yeah. Just putting in work, man, every day, making every day count. So I feel good, man. I feel good right now. Probably for the best I ever felt, man. So it was worth it, and just having that mindset every offseason not to relax too much and stay consistent.
Matthew Judon is the Patriots' best and most important defensive player, arguably. He's been kind of slow playing it at training camp. Well, Phil Perry of NBC Sports Boston reported it's because Judon wants a new contract. Judon says he wasn't willing to go there.
Right now, we was just working, being the training staff and the coaches was just working to where when I do practice, I'm at a good pace. I can move fast the whole practice. So it's nothing like that, but it's more working on my condition, working on running, and making sure I am where I need to be, because, I come out here and shells and stuff and moving slow, it doesn't look good. But when we put on pads, we'll be.
Yeah, so again, Pat's got put on today. So again, Judon says it's health related. Phil Perry doubled down and said, no, it's contract related.
He is
interested in getting an adjustment to his contract. As I reported this morning, that number that we just showed you at the start of the segment, just a shade under 14 million when you have that many people making 20, and you have some players like Alex Highsmith and Uchenna Nwosu, Tom, who I'm willing to bet a large percentage of our audience has never heard of before, are making more money per year than Matthew Judon, who's one of the best pass rushers in the league and most productive. It makes sense that he would be interested in a bump.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on the Brady Farkas show this week as well. They rode cars yesterday at Thunder Road. We love when they do that. It was the Preston's Kia Fireworks Spectacular last night. In the late models, they ran 50 laps with Nick Sweet of Williamstown winning it, Marcel Gravel of Wolcott second, and Stephen Donahue of Graniteville finished in third. Over in the Flying Tigers, they ran 40 laps where Colin Cornell of East Burke, Vermont was first, Cam Ouellette of Barrie second, and Tyler Pepin of Barrie finished in third. They ran 25 laps into street stocks with Thomas Smith of Williamstown winning it, Tyler Whitmore of Barrie second, and Todd Ramo of Swanton finishing in third. And finally, over in the Road Warriors, they ran 20 laps with Corey Martin of Northfield winning it, Nate Breen of Williamstown second, and Neil Foster of Moortown finished in third. That is a look at sports here. The Brady Farkas show tonight is on from 5:30 until 7, all 90 minutes. Remember, Red Sox baseball begins with the pregame show at 8:40, first pitch 9:40, so we get our full 90 minutes. We're going to talk with Dallas Cowboys insider Roy White out in Dallas about Ezekiel Elliott, what he's got left in the tank, because again, he visited the Patriots yesterday. Bill Belichick won't talk about it, but we will from 5:30 until 7. That, again, was a look at sports here on the afternoon news service on WDEV, AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. Your motor racing network update is next.
On today's edition of The Adventures of Julia, brought to you by Vermont Tire and Service and Cooper Tires. It was a beautiful spring day, and Julia and her two pups, Charlie and Champ, were headed out on a hike up Camel's Hump. She was headed to Richmond on Route 2 when a wooden pallet fell off a truck traveling ahead. Julia screamed and applied the brakes, but couldn't avoid the pallet. The dogs, strapped in their harnesses, were fine in the back seat. Julia pulled and managed to drag the pallet, which was full of nails, off the road. She checked her Cooper tires from Vermont Tire and Service, which didn't seem damaged. But after their hike, she took her car to have them checked out. The friendly text at Vermont Tire and Service said she was good to go, gave Charlie and Champ treats, and they were off on another adventure. Vermont Tire and Service with Cooper Tires have proudly been servicing central and northern Vermont for over 40 years, with locations in Montpelier and South Burlington, selling Cooper Tires and other quality brands.
Waterbury invites you to think local, buy local, and be local by experiencing our rich history, arts, and culture. Enjoy a self-guided walking tour of our historic downtown and keep an eye out for our arts installations, creative window displays, open studios, and galleries with rotating exhibits. Pop into the Historical Society to view artifacts and stories from the past. Learn how the community rebounded after the Great Flood of 1927 and again in 2011 after being struck by Tropical Storm Irene.
Stowe Street Emporium, a locally owned gift, apparel, and accessory store featuring an abundance of fun, eclectic, and unique pieces. We are open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 5, and Sundays, 11 to 3. So see you soon at 23 Stowe Street in historic downtown Waterbury.
The Wine Vault, an approachable wine shop. We take the snobbery out of wine. With over 1,000 bottles to choose from, we feature the classics of Napa to the funk of Slovenia. The Wine Vault is located on Elm Street in Waterbury, across from Pro Pig. See you at the Vault.
Busher survives for Richmond win. I'm Susie Armstrong. The story next on NASCAR Today.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The question you should be asking yourself this season is, how? How did a bunch of gearheads create this sport 75 years ago? How can they even be allowed to go this fast? How can someone no one saw coming become someone we'll talk about forever? Well, why don't you find out how? The NASCAR Cup Series brought to you by Xfinity at Michigan, Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on USA.
Chris Buescher survived a late race restart to capture victory in the NASCAR Cup Series Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway Sunday. Starting 26th, the RFK Racing Ford driver marched to the front and dominated the final stage when caution flew with 8 laps remaining. Buescher held the lead at the green, taking home his 3rd career win.
We had a nice, easy lead go there, was taking care of it, not shifting, and caution. I knew it was going to take some work to get back going, but our fast on Mustang was so good, firing off today. Didn't get the job done in qualifying. I had to pass a lot of cars today and had some great strategy, some great pit stops. Everybody back at RFK Racing, it's worked so hard to get us to this point. This is awesome. I knew that last race was going to be tough, but I knew we had the speed in this thing.
I'm Susie Armstrong. This is NASCAR Today on the Motor Racing Network.
448 right now on WDEV, AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. I want to talk to you about Six and Stuff and Swanton Lumber. They are Vermont's most complete locally owned home center with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and soon to be at Rouse's Point. They're online at sixandstuff.com. Danny is back from working at Camp Tecumseh last week, so appreciate him being here. Appreciate Greg Titus and Corum for stepping in last week as well. Usually at this time we talk to Kyle over at Six and Stuff and Swanton Lumber. So Danny, when we've got Kyle, just let us know here. Oh, we do. I'll have Kyle. Perfect. So Kyle is on the phone line with us now. Kyle, happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday, and I'm doing pretty well. I love the no humidity in the air. It is an amazing break. I feel like I'm on a vacation.
Yeah, that is nice. Temperatures in the high 60s and actually comfortable for sleeping finally. I'm sure you sold a lot of fans and portable ACs the last 2 weeks.
Yes, those have been hard to keep on the shelves, especially because some of our distributors have been putting certain models, because, of course, this heat wave is pretty much across the whole country. They've been putting a lot of those models on allocation, so there's only a certain number that we can order on each of our order. So we've just been pulling from 2 or 3 different vendors instead of just the one that we generally supply with. But no, it's been good. We're keeping up.
Well, we certainly, the people of Vermont certainly appreciate you, branching out, because we've certainly needed it. Talk to me a little bit about this week's flyer. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, there is a lot of good stuff on here. People are going to be pretty excited about this, and when they get it, I'm sure some people probably already got it in the mail because it goes live tomorrow. $130 off a 12-inch DeWalt compound dual miter saw. So that's pretty good if anyone's got a saw on a job site that's tired, or if they're even thinking about it. We negotiated some sales price at some show buys, so we can offer $130 off of that saw. That's only $4.99. Another cool thing that's on sale is the rolling pack-out toolbox. So it's basically like a 2-wheel dolly with a built-in toolbox on the bottom, and the Milwaukee pack-out system. It all snaps together, so you can put all different kinds of toolboxes and organizational stuff all on one thing and just roll it anywhere that you want to go. So also stiletto hammers. They're a really high-end hammer. They're made out of titanium, so they last a really long time. They're lighter than most hammers that are out there, so we have those on sale. Certain models are up to $40 off, so swing on in and check it out.
We got anything in the lawn care sector here? Because Papa Farkas has gotten really into his lawn this year, and he wants a new weed whacker and electric hedge trimmers. And I figured you'd be my first call on those kind of things.
We do have those in stock. They're not on sale this month. The only thing we really have, like lawn and garden wise, is we've got like weed block and like pea pebbles and marble chips on sale, but not really any garden specific tools. We do have them in stock, but that's just nothing in the flyer.
Doesn't have to be on the flyer. Papa Fark needs a Christmas present. I can pay full price for him for a Christmas present for sure. And there's always those gift cards too if you're already thinking about holiday shopping, which I can't believe I'm saying, but it's about to be August 1st. So my holiday radar starts to go up around August 1st if I see anything that might be holiday worthy.
Well, there you go. Yeah, get it now and squirrel it away. You'll be ahead of the game.
There you go. Kyle over at Six and Stuff and Swanton Lumber. Again, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They're online at sixandstuff.com. Hey, by the way, is the Rouse's Point location, are we open yet over there?
We are up and running. They're going through a couple more organizational things, retagging the store, doing some organizational stuff, but it is functional. They're up and running.
There you go. So if you are in a border town, you'll have multiple options. So there you go. Kyle, thank you. Be well. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good. And I just want to throw it out real quick. We're extending the flooring competition for an extra week. That's going to go until August 4th as far as entries for the worst floor contest. Just because of all the flooding and stuff that's going on, we want to give people a little bit longer to enter.
Okay. There you go. Kyle, thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
All right, 4:53 on DEV. Back into the newsroom with Lisa Scalodi of the Waterbury Roundabout next.
The businesses of Central Vermont have suffered extreme losses and need our help. The Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce has organized a flooded business relief fund to provide financial aid and support. To donate to the Flooded Business Relief Fund, go to centralvt.com, where even the smallest contribution can have a profound impact. If you'd prefer to contribute via check, mail to Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce, P.O. Box 336, Barrie, VT 05641.
New England Municipal Resource Center, NEMRIC, a company that recognizes the value of Vermont and all things local, municipalities, businesses, and WDEV.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
Local businesses advertise with WDEV because they get results. Glenn Meek of Stowe Insurance Group tells us why he advertises with WDEV.
They're heavily involved in the community like we like to be. We feel they're an excellent partner for our advertising dollars. The market penetration is second to none in Central Vermont. We've been with them for almost 40 years, and we're hoping to be with them for another 40 years.
Advertising with WDEV gets results. Inquire today at WDEV at radiovermont.com.
4:54 here on the afternoon news service. We're in the newsroom thanks to NEMRIC, the New England Municipal Resource Center, proudly supporting local government and local businesses. Joining us now, Lisa Scalodi, Waterbury Roundabout, waterburyroundabout.org. Lisa, how are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's a nice one.
It's certainly nice to not be, 90 and humid.
And raining, yeah.
Yeah, and raining, something it has done, unfortunately, quite a bit lately. On rain and water-related notes, there is some new flood-related info out there today. Let's start with some cleanup cost stuff from FEMA here.
We got an announcement this morning from FEMA that they've got a little bit of assistance that they're willing to spread around to homeowners who have had to clean up at their residences and are able to stay in their houses, and they're willing to give everybody $300 to help with their cleanup costs. I know it's literally a drop in the bucket, I'm sure, for a lot of people, but it's a start. And so there's information we've got a post on our website today on waterburyroundabout.org that has that information in it. People can sign up online to get that, or we also are fortunate here in Waterbury that there's a FEMA temporary office that's set up over at the Armory building on Armory Drive, and it's open every single day of the week from 8 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. There's people in there, they're being paid to work there, and you can just walk in and you can give them your information. And so, it's something that people want to pass that along so they know about that. That might help if they've got receipts, or if they've had to go out and buy things like fans or dehumidifiers or supplies or anything like that. So that's just one important thing to pass along to people. Another thing, too, that I was reminded, our State Representative Tom Stevens the other day had a message out reminding people that there's the requirement or the ask that the state is asking everybody who had any sort of damage, no matter how small, to report it using the 211 phone number or the 211 website, which we have on our website as well. Because as they're gathering these reports from all around the state, that's going to help feed into the information that's being sort of compiled by the federal government to decide how much aid Vermont gets as a whole. So even if, people didn't have tremendous damage at their house and they were able to clean it up, or they're in the process of getting it taken care of, having